If you're constantly tired, it's not because you're not doing enough. It's because your system never truly reaches completion. Even on quiet days, even after sleep, even when, objectively, nothing has gone wrong. The human organism is built for strain. For thousands of years we survived, assessing danger, securing food, and making decisions under pressure. What body, mind, and nervous system cannot process, however, is a state of constant inner displacement. That subtle moment when your body is here while your attention is already somewhere else. Preparing, securing, anticipating. When attention never remains in one place long enough to complete an inner cycle, the system receives no signal of closure. And without closure, recovery cannot begin. Fatigue then stops being the exception and becomes the baseline. The cost is not only exhaustion, but the gradual loss of clarity, inner orientation, and the ability to sense when enough is truly enough. Perhaps that is exactly why even stillness no longer brings you rest. The day Elena didn't arrive. Let me show you this through Elena. Elena sits at a long table where several conversations unfold at once. Not loud, not chaotic, but arranged in that quiet order that forms when no one expects anything extraordinary. Someone laughs. Someone tells a story about their day. A glass is lifted and set down again. Elena nods, smiles, listens, or at least she believes she does. As the voices continue, part of her attention lingers on a sentence spoken earlier. Nothing important, nothing hurtful, and yet something about it never quite closed. When someone addresses her directly, she takes a moment too long to respond. Not long enough to be noticed, but long enough for her to notice herself. On the way home, she tries to sort the evening in her mind. Who was there? What was said? The images feel thin, like impressions that moved on too quickly to leave a trace. Later, she sits alone on the sofa. The room is quiet. The day is over. She puts her phone away and tells herself this is the moment she rests. Yet her body remains alert, attentive, as if something else might still happen. The day does not feel wrong, only incomplete. Between what was and what comes next, something remains open. What's missing here is not rest. What's missing is arrival, because recovery does not begin where activity ends, but where body and attention reside in the same place. System explanation. Rest does not arise in the moment an action stops. It arises when what acts and what perceives fall back into alignment. As long as the body is here while attention has already moved on, the system remains open. And an open system cannot recognize completion. That is why this point is essential. Rest does not come from stillness alone, but from body and attention being present in the same place at the same time. Recovery requires arrival, not externally, but as an inner signal of wholeness. The system you never agreed to. Elena cannot remember ever consciously choosing this pace. There was no day she decided to move faster or remain constantly available. It happened more quietly than that. A message in the evening, quickly answered. A group where something is always being written. She adapted without naming it, and slowly the silence disappeared. At dinner with a friend, she listens, nods, smiles, while already planning the next day in her mind. And while everything runs like a program, no one, not even Elena, asks whether this system was ever truly hers. Why more pressure makes you weaker? Most advice begins in the wrong place. It calls for more discipline, more motivation, more efficiency, assuming the inner system is stable enough to carry additional pressure. But when a system is already under sustained tension, more pressure does not organize. It amplifies. It does not increase resilience. It increases instability. What feels like drive is, in reality, another contraction. Pushing through structural exhaustion is not strength. It is an attempt to control a system that has already grown too tight. What follows is inner resistance. This fatigue is not personal failure. It is feedback. What you lose before you break. Elena used to notice things without thinking about them. The change in the air before rain. The sound of her steps in the hallway at night. Not deliberately. It simply happened while she was there. Today, she functions. She completes what needs to be done, often so automatically that she barely registers it herself. When she later tries to recall the afternoon, it feels thin, as though it passed without settling anywhere. There is no moment she can lean against. No point at which she could say, "I was fully here." It is the quiet drifting away from herself, long before anything visibly breaks. And when this loss becomes normal, the system doesn't collapse. It stabilizes in the wrong way. Why we need to talk about exhaustion now. When attention repeatedly breaks, it is not merely restlessness. It raises a deeper question. What keeps a system stable when nothing remains long enough to form coherence? In Japanese training traditions, this is described as zanshin, not heightened concentration, not tension, but continuity of attention, a carrying of presence that does not need to be rebuilt again and again. When attention constantly resets, the system begins to fragment. Each interruption creates an internal restart, and each restart consumes energy, not emotionally, but structurally. Stability emerges where attention does not continuously collapse, but is sustained, not through force, not through control, through continuity. Freedom without form fails. Rest does not arise in chaos. It arises where form exists, not because form restricts, but because it ends negotiation. Rest is not the absence of activity. It begins where inner decision-making stops. When everything remains optional, choice never ends. And constant choosing keeps the system in motion, even when outwardly nothing is happening. In Shu-Ha-Ri, Shu describes this phase. Form before freedom. Repetition before intuition. Form reduces load. Reduced load signals safety. Without safety, recovery cannot begin. Discipline without pressure. Discipline is often mistaken for effort. In structured systems, it means something else. It reduces choice, so the system does not have to decide constantly. When rhythms are reliable, the nervous system senses safety. The body does not calm because things become easier, but because nothing needs to be negotiated anymore. Only then can relaxation begin. One evening, Elena lies on the sofa. The light is dim, the window slightly open, her phone out of reach. Her thoughts still move, brushing against tomorrow without settling anywhere. Birdsong drifts in from outside, steady, unobtrusive. Her breath slows, her shoulders sink deeper into the sofa. Nothing special happens. And yet, for the first time in a long while, the moment feels complete. Not because something was added, but because nothing is missing. Recovery does not begin when everything is finished. It begins where your body is and your attention stops being elsewhere.